This is Update News, weekly news and information program produced by Communication and Journalism Department students at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for Update News. I'm Evan Hong.
And I'm Scott Proctor. Coming up today, we'll give you the update on the Florida bridge collapse,
as well as the update on the CVTC admissions deal with UW Eau Claire. But first, the Eau Claire City Council put talks of the Public Good Order Ordinance on hold this week after public outcry from members of the community. Students, faculty members, and others voiced their opinions about the ordinance at a public hearing on Monday. The Eau Claire City Council tabled the Public Good Order Ordinance until a later date on Tuesday, with a 7-3 vote in favor of the postponement. The decision comes after a public hearing at Eau Claire City Hall on Monday, where students and community members were able to voice their opinions regarding the ordinance. Eau Claire Police Deputy Chief Chad Hoyard was one of the speakers to introduce the ordinance. Hoyard says the ordinance is not designed to be a punishment, but rather a policy to increase public safety throughout the city.
These problems and concerns are not going to change unless we can work as a community and make a culture change. The change needs to be a transition from excessive drinking to responsible drinking.
Much of the public backlash was due to the vagueness of the language in the ordinance, which was the ultimate reason for the council's decision. Various speakers stood in front of the council to express their concerns about the recent shutdown of the Right Way shuttle bus service, which provided a safe ride service for students while they were drinking. UW Eau Claire Student Senate Intergovernmental Affairs Director Scott Small told council members that he would like the students to be more involved in the creation of the ordinance.
A policy that is written by the enforcers instead of the ones being enforced is not a policy that I want to see in Eau Claire. That is why I'm asking for your votes tonight to create a fair and even committee to evaluate the true needs of students. A policy written with students, by students, for students.
While the ordinance was postponed, the council approved the creation of an ad hoc neighborhood safety and public relations task force. The group would include representatives from the university, neighborhood community members, the health department, and others. There is no official date at this time for when the ordinance will be discussed again. However, City Manager Dale Peters says he would like to bring back the discussion at the first City Council meeting in May.
Chippewa Valley Technical College announced a new way for students to transfer to the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire after graduation. Updates Anne-Marie Payson has the story.
After graduation, CVTC students with a liberal arts associate degree can transfer to the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. Shannon Waterhouse, an academic advisor, says the agreement between the two schools is modeled after CVTC's current agreement with the University of Wisconsin-Stout.
And in the past, we had an agreement just with Stout, but like you know, there is a new agreement going with UW Eau Claire, where if a student completes their liberal arts degree, so they need to complete all of our requirements for the program, that when they transfer, what I'm guessing, typically how it goes, when they transfer to UW Eau Claire, that their the liberal education core requirement would be met, so that when they go there, it'll be just their core classes for their major and their minor.
Waterhouse says she doesn't think it will change the overall admission numbers for CVTC, but it could help future college students in the area.
I think it'll be really good too for our recruiters who go out into high schools and letting students know that there is a much more smooth process, and that students can be, comfortable in deciding, okay, I can come to CVTC, I don't necessarily need to know exactly what I want to do.
The transfer process will be in effect for the fall 2018 semester. For Update News, I'm Anna-Marie Payson.
At least 6 people are dead after a pedestrian bridge collapsed on Thursday afternoon near Florida International University. Officials say the 5-day-old bridge crumbled after it completed a stress test that involved tightening the bridge's cables. 950 tons of concrete fell onto traffic. A university student and construction workers were among the 10 people injured. Officials are still searching the rubble and expect to find more buried individuals. The $14.2 million pedestrian bridge was slated to open in 2019. It would have connected International University's campus with a student neighborhood.
At least 68 civilians are dead in Syria after airstrikes and attacks today. The news of the death toll came a day after the 7-year civil war anniversary in Syria. Since January, Turkish forces have surrounded the city of Afrin, while activists have reported hundreds of civilians fleeing Afrin. Tens of thousands are said to still be inside. Residents of Afrin say they're facing food, water, and electricity shortages. The UN has warned of a malnutrition crisis.
The Trump administration announced it is enacting new sanctions on Russia in what appears to be an effort to punish Moscow for its behavior during the 2016 U.S. elections. The administration acknowledges that Russia meddled in the 2016 election, interference that the president has repeatedly questioned. Today, the U.S. also publicly blamed Russia for an agent attack that left a former Russian spy and his daughter critically ill in Britain, deeming the action a clear violation of international law.
While the White House is placing sanctions on Moscow, Mueller's probe into Russian meddling appears to be crossing over into the president's business affairs. CNN has learned that special counsel Robert Mueller subpoenaed the Trump Organization for business documents. According to the New York Times, the subpoena included documents related to Russia. An attorney for the Trump Organization told CNN today the company is cooperating fully with the special counsel. Stay tuned after the break. We'll give you the details on Eau Claire's new pet pantry,
as well as the fate of Toys R Us.
Stay with us. You're watching Update News.
Spring is almost here, as temperatures will nearly reach 50 degrees over the weekend. As for tonight, we will see mostly clear skies, lows will be around 18 degrees, and winds will remain calm. Saturday, we will have sunny skies and highs reaching 48 degrees with a slight breeze in the air. Going into Saturday night, lows will drop to 27 degrees while skies become mostly cloudy. Sunday highs will be around 47 degrees with clear skies and calm winds for more early spring-like conditions.
A company that helped define childhood memories for decades will soon be no more. Toys R Us, the iconic retailer, will shut down or sell all of its nearly 800 stores in the United States, which means there will not be a new generation of Toys R Us kids. Toys R Us hasn't earned a full year profit in 6 years and has lost $2.5 billion since then. Analysts believe Toys R Us also didn't have strong sales during the 2017 holiday season. On Wednesday, Toys R Us announced all of its stores in the United Kingdom would also be closed.
The Lakely restaurant and bar is helping keep local organic farming alive with the farm-to-table method it uses to build its menu. Chef Nathan Berg teamed up with Chef Luke Zahm of the Driftless Cafe in Viroqua this Wednesday to promote their restaurant's shared model. Update's Max Paranod has the details.
According to Driftless Cafe chef Luke Zahm, over 400 dairy farms went out of business in Wisconsin last year. This is one reason Zahm teamed up with Chef Nathan Berg of the Lakely in Eau Claire for a 6-course meal event. Both chefs wish to bring awareness to the farm-to-table model their restaurants follow.
The main idea is that restaurants are buying fresh stuff from the farms that are in their own backyard, and the idea being that the food is fresh, but also it's not as bogged down in the middleman. So literally, you're directly buying things from the farms that are supplying you. And you financially that's helping them, but also you can develop a relationship with them.
Both chefs took stage to discuss the ingredients used in all dishes served throughout the evening. All ingredients used were from Midwest farms, as both chefs discussed the benefits to both purchasing and consuming locally grown products.
I'm using some things from Dragsmith Farm, which is a farm that supplies us, as well as some native harvested wild rice, which a local Anishinaabe fella who lives in Chippewa Falls provides to us that he still, hand harvests in a canoe.
Guests were served dishes the two chefs worked together to develop, but the goal was encouraging people to be active proponents for the health and well-being of the local farming economy.
If you take farm to table kind of to the end path, it's more of it becomes like a solid relationship that a chef has with a farmer or a chef has with the people who make his ingredients, and that's, that only helps your food get better as far as I'm concerned. So,
according to Chef Zahm, it's not about the chef, it's not about the restaurant, it's about the farmer. For Update News, I'm Max Paranod.
Eau Claire community members struggling to supply their pets with basic needs are in luck. The Eau Claire County Humane Association has opened a brand new pet pantry at the 3900 Old Town Road location. Updates Lucas Sem has the details.
The Eau Claire County Humane Association is looking to give back to the community with the opening of a pet pantry. The vision of their pantry is to offer supplies for all animals from dogs to rabbits to birds. So far, they are offering food, cages, treats, and even cat litter. Kennel supervisor and foster coordinator Liz Berg says that the inspiration for the creation of the pantry was actually the amount of leftover resources the shelter had sitting around unused.
We were finding ourselves with a lot of extra food that we weren't using in a timely manner. We were calling St. Francis Food Pantry. They pick up, but it still wasn't keeping up with what we have here for overflow. So we wanted to be able to give back a little, and so we started the pet food pantry so that people that need a little bit of help can still feed their pets and have one less stressor in their lives that they have to worry about.
Berg says that so far, the operation has gotten a great response. The community has engaged the pantry with large amounts of people donating and at least 1 to 2 people a day getting some supplies out of the pantry. Berg says she's glad this can shine a positive light on the shelter.
Yeah, I see at least a few people a day coming, a lot of people wanting to donate for it, which is awesome, and just people are happy that we're doing it.
The shelter says the pantry is there for the community and urges everyone to make use of it, but asks that you only take what you need so that they can service the max amount of people. For Update News, I'm Lucas Seb.
We're going to take a quick break, but don't go away. We have the latest on the newest Packers players.
And we have the story on a March Madness tournament upset.
Don't go away. You're watching Update News.
Former Green Bay Packers wide receiver Jordy Nelson signed a 2-year contract with the Oakland Raiders on Thursday. The deal comes after the Packers released Nelson earlier this week. The deal is reportedly worth $15 million. The 32-year-old spent his first 10 seasons in Green Bay, earning a Super Bowl championship in 2010 and reaching the Pro Bowl in 2014. Nelson struggled last season with 53 catches for 482 yards and 6 touchdowns, while quarterback Aaron Rodgers missed more than half the season with injuries. Nelson joins 5th-year veteran quarterback Derek Carr and new Raiders coach John Gruden.
In addition to the Jordy Nelson news, the Packers also acquired free agent defensive lineman Muhammad Wilkerson, former Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Kaiser, as well as free agent tight end Jimmy Graham. Wilkerson signed with the Packers after spending his first 7 seasons with the New York Jets. Kaiser was acquired in a trade with the Browns for cornerback Demarius Randall along with draft picks and is expected to serve as the backup to Aaron Rodgers. Jimmy Graham joins the Packers after signing a 3-year deal reportedly worth $30 million, keeping him as the highest paid tight end in the NFL. Graham spent his last 3 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks.
The South Region's number 13 seed Buffalo Bulls pulled off a major upset yesterday in the NCAA basketball tournament, knocking off the 4th seed Arizona Wildcats with an 89-68 victory. Buffalo shredded Arizona's defense with his quickness, driving through the lane for shots in the paint and kicking out to the shooters for 3. Defensively, the Bulls put the pressure on Arizona's guards, holding them to 2 for 18 from beyond the arc. Millions of online brackets were busted by the upset, including former President Barack Obama. Buffalo will move on to face the Kentucky Wildcats in the round of 32 on Sunday.
March Madness has had its first buzzer beater. Dante Ingram hit a 3-pointer from the March Madness logo just before the buzzer, lifting 11-seeded Loyola Chicago over Miami 64-62 in a Thursday thriller at the NCAA tournament. The Ramblers matched a school record for wins from the 1963 National Championship team in the first trip back to the tournament since 1985. They advanced to play 3rd-seeded Tennessee on Saturday. Loyola, riding an 11-game win streak, was boosted by a pregame prayer from its team chaplain, 98-year-old Jean Dolores Schmidt. She's held that position for more than 2 decades and sitting courtside in her wheelchair, got hugs from the Ramblers when it was all over. That's all for sports.
We'll be back with more Update News. President Donald Trump seems to hope the luck of the Irish will be with him this St. Patrick's Day. Trump met with Ireland's Prime Minister Leo Varadkar at the White House on Thursday. The president made several positive remarks about America's relationship with Ireland during the one-on-one meeting. Varadkar addressed Irish immigration reform and gave Trump a bowl of shamrocks that evening. That's all for Update News. I'm Evan Hong.
For the entire Update News team, I'm Scott Proctor. Thanks for watching and have a good weekend.
You have been watching Update News, a weekly news and information production of Communication and Journalism Department students at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire.